All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game is going to be between Happy and Lynn, taking place here on Autumn Leaves. Happy spawning as the blue undead on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, top right-hand side of the map, Lynn spawning as the yellow orc. Let's go ahead and get to that, well, 8 times speed, get to that at least 1.5 minute mark of the game, see what heroes are going to be trained up. Death Knight going up against a Blade Master here, as Lin does not set up a barracks. All right, so we may be looking at a very fast tech to tier 2 and then trying to go into a dual bestiary for some raiders. Great Hall already completed before, or started before the Voodoo Lounge is even completed. Blade Master quickly sells that Scroll of Town portal, picks up a Clarity Potion and, well, those healing salves, and ready to perhaps get some items and then start his harassment potential.
Forces are under attack.
Death Knight going after the Forest Troll Berserker off over here. Well, quickly Death Coils make sure that the Blade Master is unable to Windwalk Strike and steal that item here. Alright, always key. Death Knight trying to finish that last shot. Is the Blade Master going to try? Oh, there's that Windwalk Strike, getting that little bit of experience. And he does have a Circuit of Nobility, which I believe he bought from the shop earlier. And now, well, looking to dodge away. We do see the tech to tier 2, and this is Lin's opportunity to try and clear out a couple of these Acolytes. Trying to damage Acolytes here, and in order to, well, lose mining, right? If you can force Happy to perhaps delay his tech to tier 2 and throw him off his game, since he doesn't want to go through this entire time without the blade, without full saturation on this gold mine. Blade Master being forced to dance a little bit back here, does have Dust of Appearance applied on him, so the Death Knight does know exactly where he is. Blade Master looking to get some damage, perhaps just take down a skeletal minion and just get any experience he can. Alright, trying to get one more final shot here. Death Knight, there's Dust of Appearance again. Blade Master once more being revealed. Who's gonna get that final hit? There's another skeletal minion damage. Blade Master still absorbing quite a bit. Is he gonna try to get a final shot off there? No, he doesn't. So, well, just playing this little bit of a game, well, trying to bait Lin into perhaps diving in, but still Happy able to clear out and finish off some of these units here. Alright, so early stages. Lin trying to disrupt Happy's creeping. Well, Happy, no slouch, knows exactly how to creep and trying to dance along that fine line there. Blade Master perhaps going to be retreating back as that tech to tier 2 is already done. We're getting up a Shadow Hunter, and we should be Ooh. Tech to tier 3 before the first production building started by Lin. And that is, I believe this is the first time I've seen this particular build order ever. Alright, Blade Master once more. Well, he is currently revealed, but it was able to walk through all of these targets as well. Blade Master wants to, well, finish off that Forest Troll Berserker, unable to do that. Death Knight able to pick up a clause to attack +5. There's Dust of Appearance again. And how much Dust of Appearance has Happy purchased? And it's only been the 5-minute mark of the game, applying Dust of Appearance 4 times to that Blade Master. Alright, more damage getting racked up. Sasquatch, again, it looked like it's going to get cleaned up here. Who's going to get the last hit? There's that Death Coil, another Claws of Attack +5. There's more Dust of Appearance again, so 5 Dusts of Appearance applied to that Blade Master in, well, the 3.5 minutes he's been alive out on the battlefield. Alright, tech to tier 3 nearly done here. Bestiary halfway done. Shadow Hunter out here on the battlefield, perhaps to try and offer a little bit of problems. We are going to be seeing some Hex down, and now the Shadow Hunter, Blade Master going to battle it up here. There we go. There's some damage. There's a Death Coil. And, well, no time for Hex. The Death Knight, I thought, would have been hexed by the Shadow Hunter, preventing the Death Coil heal onto the Ghoul. And Lin has just not been able to capitalize on these early heroes. Now, we do see, Wind Riders. Are we actually going to be looking at, like, Fast Envenom Spears? Alright, so Fast Envenom Spears remember, in Venom Spears, they actually do stack, so that could potentially be a problem. There's that Null Overseer. Acolyte still joining in on that battle here. The Wind Rider could rack up quite a bit of damage. Who got the experience? Death Knight now with a Potion of Greater Healing as well, so he's going to be that much more difficult to take down. 34 supply compared to 35. We're looking at the tech to tier 3 nearly done. And, well, Lin's in at 34 over 41 supply here. All right, Frostwolf going to get taken down. We're looking at a little bit more poking again. We are getting up the Envenom Spears as well. The Voodoo Lounge absorbing quite a bit of damage. Peons now going to be making their way over, trying to finish off some of these skeletal minions easily. There goes another as the Voodoo Lounge now getting repaired. All right, 38 over 41 supply. An additional Orc Burrow has not been started yet. Lin not even reaching full saturation. Lich is now out here on the battlefield as we are now teching the tier 3 as well. Alright, so teching the tier 3 quickly. Shadow Hunter looking to, and Blade Master looking to get to level 2, trying to play a game of catch up in terms of the hero experience. That is, well, 3 Wind Riders out here on the battlefield. Envenom Spears now done. There is another Orc Burrow a little bit late as we're looking at the Frost Nova go down as well. Alright, what is the units looking to do across here? Shadow Hunter, alright, getting in some damage. There's a quick Hex. We're going to look at some damage onto the Enraged Wildkin. That's going to be a quick death there. All of that focus fire damage and that damage over time. Shadow Hunter now sitting at level 2. Going to go after all of these targets pretty quickly. Null Assassin going to spread all of that poison damage across multiple targets, but he's quickly finished off as the Null Overseer about to get taken down. 30. Well, come on. Oh my. Yeah, one more final shot. Blade Master at 2.5. Shadow Hunter at 2.25, I guess. Meanwhile, Lich at level 1 doesn't have an Orb of Corruption yet. Death Knight may be shopping for him. No. Death Knight has the Orb of Corruption because he wants to be able to attack into the air. And here we are taking out that Null Overseer, but the Lich gets the final hit there. And then that was a big item, or a big steal. All right, there's Healing Wave bouncing around. A bunch of ghouls, a little bit of poison damage. And now the Wind Riders, perhaps, are they going to try and dive in after these Acolytes? There is a Spirit Tower in the back. And that Spirit Tower in the back should offer plenty of protection. Quick reminder for all you guys out there who have free Twitch Primes subs. Make sure you use them, not even if it isn't on my channel. Use it, Amazon Prime, right? You have the free sub to support anyone, and, well, giving someone free money that you wouldn't normally have, well, that you've already paid for, I guess, if you're paying for Prime. Alright, coming back through. A little bit of damage coming back around here. Kodo Beast trying to fall back. We do see some spiked barricades. The Voodoo Lounge taking quite a bit of damage here. Are we going to see perhaps some repairs as we're looking at the Wind Riders trying to go after these other units? All right, so Acolyte actually taking damage over time even while on Blythe. And that is, well, quite the story since they have such good regeneration. Meanwhile, so Lin is just letting these spiked barricades do their thing to try and, well, deter any sort of attacking here. Dark Ranger as the third and final hero, Kodo Beast, well, trying to hang back and offer some support. Units need to make their way over 51 supply, over 31, so only 7 gold a second for Lin compared to Happy's 10 right now. Lin is, well, finally lost the peon, and that may have actually been a little bit of a bonus as we're looking at the Wind Riders now making their way over. All right, damage straight up onto some of those units. Destroyer now trying to back away. You can see that damage over time really racking up. Frost Nova, and we're looking at some damage here. All right. Well, Death Knight still with that Orb of Corruption is able to attack up into the air. The area, well, the Wind Rider is just, well, falling at the hands of all of these units. There's a stomp a little bit late. 35 supply compared to 41. Level 3 now on the Shadow Hunter as the Kodo Beast, well, is eating up a Crypt Fiend. Do we see a Scroll of Speed? We do not. We're going to be perhaps looking at a little bit of damage racked up onto those Crypt Fiends there as the units are trying to retreat back. A Healing Wave saves a Wind Rider. That's going to be important as the Wind Rider now tries to back up again. Lich Dark Ranger Death Knight able to get out of that dicey spot. Level 3, level 3, level 2, going up against a level 3, level 2, nearly level 2. 10 minutes of mining left here at the main bases. Lin rebuilding lost orc burrows. Even after 2 of the 3 orc burrows are done, Lin will be upside down on supply. Those spiked barricades reflecting quite a bit of damage back to those ghouls. And now the Crypt Fiends down here taking a mighty bit amount of damage. A dual level up here for the Death Knight and that Dark Ranger. Meanwhile, Lich also going to be very close to level 3 after clearing out some of these other creep camps as well. Alright, this Kodo Beast nearly done digesting a Crypt Fiend. That Kodo Beast looking to rejoin in on the battle. Remember that Crypt Fiend does offer sight to Happy, so purposely leaving it a little bit distant with everyone else here. And now the Tauren Chieftain could try and clear out this red creep camp. Alright, going to be doing exactly that. There's going to be some stun damage onto that Tauren Chieftain right there, but the Dire Wolf quickly getting taken down, followed up by another Dire Frost Wolf as well. Kodo Beast rejoins in on the party. Digestion is complete. Both sides clearing out those important red creep camps as the Tauren Chieftain may get to level 3 here. Yes, does get to level 3. So we're looking at 3-3-3 going up against 3-3-2 or 4-3-2. Hero levels being pretty much neck and neck right now. All right. Blade Master +6 to every single stat and faster attack speed, so that Blade Master essentially hitting like a level 5 Blade Master at this point and stage in the game. Meanwhile, back off to the north side here, we're looking to see what Lin hopes to do to follow this up here. Remember, Wind Riders, I've said it in the past and I'll say it again, they're just too fragile for 4 supply units. As a 4 supply unit, right, that gets taken down that quickly, often what happens is you just end up feeding experience to your opponent a bit too quickly, and then they come over the top with, say, level 3 Death Coils and level 2 Frost Novas. Happy sitting at 49 over 60 supply, 50 over 60. Slight armor upgrades as we're going into a Tauren Totem now by Lin. Tauren Chieftain finding some green creep camps out here on the southern side of the map. That's going to be able to do a little bit more. Kodo Beasts do have level 2 Warsong drum upgrades, so that essentially comes across as 2-0 upgrades here as the units now make their way off to the north. Peons trying to repair. Death Knight taking a little bit of damage. One Peon inside trying to fight back here, and we're looking at some, repairs. All right, Peon, is he going to be able to jump inside another? Yes, he does. So there is another jump inside. Black Arrow Death Coil finishing off that Peon. And, both sides still fighting through. All right, some repairs are going to be necessary. We're going to see a Frost Nova or anything like that. Another Orc Burrow about to be lost. 56 supply over 41 now as the Wind Riders going to look to engage. Are we going to actually see an ensnare or something to prevent the retreat? Without ensnare, Undead now playing a game similar to Orc with those hit and run tactics, turning back around. And there's a quick web onto a Crypt Fiend healing wave bouncing around. Death Knight now trying to do a tactical retreat. Dual level ups once more. Tauren Chieftain, it looked like there was a level up. Oh, Skeletal Minion. Oh, no, Peon getting killed there to try and deny a bit of experience. Autumn Leaves, all creeps have been taken down. Kodo Beast, do they have anything in their belly? They do not. So Happy really does have a 10 supply lead in this fight right now as the Tauren Totem, Orc Burrows getting placed down. Even with this additional Orc Burrow, gonna be pretty much supply blocked. 50 over 51 supply. Not gonna really be able to train up any additional units besides, the Peon that he had just taken out and sacrificed earlier.
A player's forces are under attack.
Blade Master wind walking around here. We see a couple of destroyers up in the air, Crypt Fiends down on the ground. Is the Tauren Chieftain going to be able to stomp them down? Stomp down those Crypt Fiends and remove them from the occasion. Remove them from the equation in terms of damage. Crypt Fiends versus Wind Riders generally favor Crypt Fiends, or greatly favor Crypt Fiends, unless the Tauren Chieftain is able to get down a decent number of stomps. Alright, are we going to see a stomp here? Tauren Chieftain is silenced. So Dark Ranger telling Tauren Chieftain, no, you cannot put your foot down here, as we're looking at Wind Riders getting cleaned up. It looks like Happy's just going to easily take this battle. Tauren Chieftain uses a potion of healing, no invul potion, down to 64 hit points and able to stay alive. But this is a one-side beat. Well, felt like a one-side beating for quite a bit of time. Kodo beasts are chomping down on a couple of Crypt Fiends, so that is a couple of supply coming back the other way. Tauren Chieftain healing wave, stomp, trying to finish off another Crypt Fiend there. Tauren Chieftain, did absorb a death coil there. There's a reveal, and we're going to see one Crypt Fiend taken down. There's another Crypt Fiend right there as well. Dust of Appearance. We're going to see another. Yes, there's another takedown going across as well. Wind Riders going to get cleaned up. Tauren Chieftain trying to make its way back across here. It's going to get auto-attacked, and with that auto-attack, well, not be able to heal up anymore. So Healing Salve has come to an end here. However, it is the 6 supply inside the belly of those Kodo beasts that ensure a little bit of damage here. Meanwhile, the Raider wants to get in an ensnare, gets an ensnare. There's Frost Armor, Healing Wave bouncing around, Death Coil as the Raider tries to dodge the damage. No, he's not going to be able to get taken, or he's not going to be able to stay alive. Lich, Invul Potion. Invul Potion comes online. I'm not sure if there was a purge from the Blade Master to remove the Hex there, as that Destroyer, could have a little bit of a bad day. All right, a little bit more damage. Scroll of Town Portal transferred at the last possible second. And, well, Tactical Retreat is in order. Kodo Beast, well, going to finish digesting 2 Crypt Fiends here. That is not going to give a level up anywhere, but, well, it will more accurately show the supply count. 44 supply, or soon to be 41 supply compared to 40. Alright, that Tauren Chieftain tried to dive in and tried to put his foot down, and then pretty much said was denied the ability to, of Stomp on all of those Crypt Fiends, really opening up for Happy to do large amounts of damage. Now, here comes the question. Lin does have Ensnare now, can train up Raiders, and is this tech swap from Wind Riders to Raiders gonna be enough to throw off Happy? Remember, the Crypt Fiends, their piercing damage is not effective against the Wind Rider or the Raiders' medium armor. Alright, so add in a little bit of Ensnare here. Oh wow, there's still some creeps here out on the map. There goes a Gift Wrap Crypt Fiend. Tauren Chieftain Illusion. Unless this other Tauren Chieftain is invisible, which one is the right one? Who's going to throw down a stomp? Tauren Chieftain going to go ahead and join in on the battle. There's a stomp right there. No, the silence a little bit late as the illusion. Perhaps it was the one who took the stomp or took the silence. All right, both sides still fighting their way through. Tauren Chieftain could throw down another stomp here again. That could be a big deal, but no. Death Coil, Frost Nova. Tauren Chieftain falls at level 3. Spirit Walker falls as well. Level 4 now on that Lich. Not much mana on the Death Knight Lich or Dark Ranger. No Obsidian statues as Tauren are out here on the battlefield. Shadow Hunter gets a healing wave, but it may not be enough. No, Shadow Hunter falls as well. Blade Master trying to, take down these destroyers as the Blade Master, gonna be, try and wind walk in order to get away. Kodo Beast and other units still going after these targets again. Blade Master is going to be able to stay alive. Yes, gets up to level 5. Is going to be able to burst down that Lich. They're going to see down to 98, 82, 22, 4 hit points. And does it get away? Yes, it does. Lich falls at level 4. Blade Master able to finish the Lich and escape away at 4 hit points. All right. Lich falls there. Tauren or Shadow Hunter. Tauren Chieftain walking back. Shadow Hunter getting resurrected the old-fashioned way. Perhaps we're going to see some healing salves as well. Blade Master using every single hit point and every bit of armor to try and stay alive. Tauren Chieftain also using up a clarity potion as well. Blade Master, well, could have a very bad day if it accidentally walks across the path of the death coil of a Death Knight. Death Knight does have enough, does also have an Invo potion. Blade Master still wandering around here, does have an orb of a lightning. Are we going to see an Invo potion on that Blade Master? Nope, unable to purchase one since the Death Knight cleared out its inventory just a moment ago. 47 supply compared to 48. Shadow Hunter still waiting to make its way back out onto the battlefield. Peons could start some long distance mining or just try and set up a tiny great hall here. Gold is going to be key. No one is mining any gold whatsoever. Happy, he is not unsummoning buildings yet. Slaughterhouse, and here we are. This could turn into a bit of an issue. All right, Kodo Beast trying to back away. There's a Death Coil for a save there. Spirit Walkers, there's an Ensnare. Banshee's going to try and engage once more. There's a silence onto the Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain unable to do anything right now. Just trying to, swing that giant axe as the Kodo Beast trying to retreat back. Kodo Beast could get taken down. No, Kodo Beast somehow still alive. Healing wave bouncing around. And Lin, did he find the right formula? All right, Tauren Chieftain fighting at level 3. Going to be forced to retreat back out. But a lot of damage absorbed there. Lich currently alive because of an Invo potion. Dark Ranger, Blade Master down to 165, down to 60 hit points, down to 53, is able to stay alive. But what is remaining in terms of units fighting here? Blade Master and Tauren Chieftain both extremely low on hit points, do not want to be partaking in this battle. Shadow Hunter trying to get some damage, perhaps finding that Lich. Oh, there's a Death Coil saving that Lich there. Blade Master running back into the fray, perhaps wanting to burst down, but we need to see an Ensnare or a Purge or something go down onto that Lich first. All right, still some long distance mining. Lin able to get maybe 100 gold a minute at this rate. Maybe maybe 150. Dark Ranger could be in trouble. Dark Ranger quickly gets sniped down. Invo potion on the Blade Master. Blade Master Frost Nova. Dark Ranger falls at level 3. Tauren Chieftain now trying to make its way over. Blade Master trying to take a little bit of baiting here, and we're looking at the units continuing to fight. All right, Blade Master just off to the side here, absorbing damage. Kodo Beast down to dead. Death Knight gets up to level 5. There's a level up onto the Shadow Hunter. Healing wave bouncing around as the Shadow Hunter could have troubles. Blade Master wants to go after that Lich. Lich down to 775 hit points after the Death Coil heal, as the Shadow Hunter is now out of mana. All right, Invo potion onto the Blade Master. Death Knight seems to be okay for now. Tauren Chieftain going after that target there as the Spirit Walker trying to retreat back. 24 supply compared to 35. A little bit of mining happening, and that is pretty much it. Kodo Beast has nothing to really eat. Tauren and Tauren Chieftain fighting the remainder of the army, but there are 2 destroyers in the air which are very effective against this Tauren. 32 supply compared to 24. The game can go sideways here very quickly. One thing to note, Happy does not have any obsidian statues. So no obsidian statues. That could spell a problem there. Blade Master is still regenerating quite a bit of hit points here. Are we going to see a regroup here? Kodo Beast coming back across, and now Blade Master. There's a stomp. Was that a perfect bait? I do not know. Death Knight realizes, wait a second, maybe I didn't want to be that far deep here. Blade Master could be in trouble, down to 500 hit points. Shadow Hunter does have enough for another healing wave. Blade Master is going to try to go after this Destroyer. Destroyer purposely staying on the tree line, and now finally engaging here. Lich now in trouble again. Do we see enough mana? There's a Frost Nova. Blade Master trying to fight after the Lich. Lich has Frost Armor, making it difficult. Blade Master down to 67 hit points. Tauren Chieftain gets up to level 4. Death Knight falls at level 5. During this engagement here, are we going to see an Ensnare? Yes, Ensnare onto the Death Knight, and there is going to be a surround. Death Knight going to fall at level 5. Well, nope. Lin Happy sees the writing on the wall. After the Ensnare and the 4-unit surround, Happy losing that game to Lin. A real right up until the edge game. That last bit of gold, being able to train up that Raider, the defining difference. peons doing long distance mining over happy not unsummoning buildings. By not unsummoning buildings to try and get a couple of more units there, that was truly a min-max game. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.